RPGRules AI tutorial number 1, looking at the basics of AI here. So what I'm going to do quickly is I'm going to create a new character called Droid Minion. Based on female basic, we're in the characters folder, we'll just clone female basic, and we have a droid minion now. And we'll give her a couple of powers. Using the power creation system, I'm going to take a bolt to make a droid bullet. And can clone that. The droid bullet, I'm going to make it piercing. Works on enemies, type of damage piercing. And we'll give it the bullet trail effect instead of the energy bullet. Bullet trail effects there. And we'll make one called droid punch. So they have a ranged attack and a melee attack. And that's going to be based on base punch, clone base punch. Oop, went into the wrong folder. There we go. And in the droid minion character, we just need to drop them into the list of powers here. Order does not matter. Droid bullet, droid punch. And we'll put one of these characters next to where Rainbow Guy spawns and see what happens. So, there's the hostile droid shooting me, coming up to do a punch. So it basically knows how to use all its powers without us having to do anything. If we press P and then pick with the droid minion targeted, we can now change our targets and still see the droid minion's thoughts. That it's evaluating both of its attacks at 7.5. because they're both doing the same damage, and it's then choosing them basically at random which one to do every time this countdown goes down, because it's got a countdown that'll expire after every action. So if I, for example, jump down here, we'll see the punch becomes a lot less attractive because it's now having to run and get me, whereas the ranged attack still retains its high value. If I go close to the droid again, it's more likely to punch me. So I've written a whole bunch of code here with status effects, with powers, working out, you know, some way of sort of evaluating the cost of each action over time, and that code is pretty good. You know, yeah, it works. It helps them make a good decision with their powers in general. Let's go to this droid punch, and let's change it around a bit. Let's make it a charge attack. Needs 2 seconds to charge up, and it what are we going to do? We'll take the damage, we'll give it a maximum damage of 40. So the robot will now try to hold the punch for 2 seconds and then hit us. Let's see what that does. I think that means it should evaluate a lot more highly, shouldn't it? So we evaluate the pick the robot, and you can see the punch is evaluating really highly. However, it's now got suboptimal AI, in that every time it tries to punch us, we can just run away, because it telegraphs that move. You know, it's basically vulnerable to nimble characters who move and pay attention, and it can't do anything about that. So, what if we took the droid bullet and added an effect to it? We'll add a root to it. Just simple root, so when you get hit by that bullet you can't move for 5 seconds. We could then tell it we only use the droid punch when the target is rooted. So we have these default AI settings here. We've got the AI priority can just make us can multiply those numbers we saw there if you wanted to do a particular attack more often than it's doing. But we have AI caster and target conditions. So if we go to the AI target condition and write in root, we can say whenever you're rooted, whenever you click through there, whenever you are either rooted or held, so you can't move, that has to be the case before it's going to try a droid punch. And let's have a look at that in action now. So if we select that, P, pick, right, it's coming into punch because we're currently rooted. But when we're not rooted, running around like this, the next time it evaluates, the droid punch evaluates to 0, and you see it's got that little question mark next to it, indicating there's a condition at work. As soon as we're rooted, it's happy to punch away with a really high value because of the high damage. So it's now behaving quite intelligently. It'll try to pin us down with its bullets, occasionally do an extra bullet just because of probability, and then highly evaluate the desire to punch us when we're sort of vulnerable to that, when we're rooted. So these numbers you get here, they're used for roulette selection. If you imagine them being the size of different things on a wheel of fortune that's being spun, and that's how it makes its decision every frame. I do it that way because we want the AI to be a little bit random. Often you'll end up giving them 2 attacks, one of which always evaluates slightly higher than the other, and you don't want it to just use a slightly better one every time. So, the takeaway at this point is you can give a character all the powers you want, and they will know how to use them, but if you don't like the way they're using them, you can tweak them. Using these target conditions, you can also change the priority. I'll just demo that. I'll set the priority of this punch to 10. And that means it will really, really like punching us once we're rooted. So it's evaluating to 0, but when it finally hits us and roots us, when it finally hits us, come on, oh come on, we'll see this number go up hugely. Wow. I need to put a streak breaker in here, I think. Yeah, I really do. Okay, droid punch coming up, goes to 214, so it's nearly always going to punch when it's got the opportunity to. Okay, let's move on. Let's go back to the characters folder. Assets, characters, get this working folder, and we're going to make a droid healer now. Clone female basic to make a droid healer. And we're going to give the droid healer 2 powers. We're going to clone the ally buff power to do droid heal and droid shield. Droid heal, droid shield. Clone the ally buff. Make sure they should have been pointing to allies only. Droid shield, we will get it to have 1 status effect on the target, which is the damage shield made earlier, so it puts an extra layer of hit points on its allies, with a kind of red shield that's very easily noticeable. Droid heal will get it to do the nanos from Gadgeteer, and just drop that in there. That's a heal over time, a damage over time with negative values. And for the droid healer, of course, we need to put these into its powers array. Droid heal, droid shield. There we go. Right, we'll delete this one here. We'll have a droid healer down here with 2 droid minions. So we've got a little group there that can go on aggro. Let's see what they do now. So as we watch from afar out of aggro range, you can see the droid healer has shielded both of its allies and then stopped. And then it shielded that test dummy nearby, and it's now stopped. So if we just spy on it from afar, you can see the droid shield is evaluating quite well. Sometimes evaluates to 0, that's when everyone's already got a shield on them. So it's smart enough to know that this shield, for example, if we just have a quick look at it, that was in droid healer, droid shield, damage shield, has maximum stacks of 1. You can only have one version of this shield on you. So it works out by itself. Buffing a character already wearing this shield is going to be counterproductive. If we get in close now and do some damage over time, some damage, you can see that the heal is now evaluating a little bit as well, and it starts to heal these other characters. If we do some damage to both of them. And it's still shielding that guy over there. If we keep trying to do damage to this one, maybe do a bit of teleporting around to actually get its hit points down. Oh, no, it's just trying to shield that guy over there. So let's go and get him. And we'll see. Yep, its desire to heal is going up the more damage we do to him, kind of. Oh, it's now evaluating at 0. Yep. So there is this variable I've got called urgency in there. How urgently do you need to heal another character? Now, which one's the healer against? This one over here. I can walk right up to the healer and hassle them and they don't run away. So I'll just show you another trick with the droid healer there, what we can do. If we decide this is meant to be a ranged character fighting from the back, we can go to its AI brain and let's say it has a preferred minimum distance of 6 and a maximum distance of 15. That's the range it likes to fight in. If we leave them as 0, the characters won't move particularly. And now, when we go up to it, oh, got rooted. Let's select it. You can see it's got this extra kite thing here, another evaluation, so that if it turns its attention to me, it's actually going to move away. This isn't going to happen because it's too busy with its 2 minions here, so I'll just take them down. And this one. Okay, so they're done now. It'll now target me, and we should see... Oh, it's concentrating on that robot over there. We should see its kite go up. Okay, not the best illustration. I'll stick a kite goal on the droid minion as well. Because these kite goals only work on the current target. It's not sort of looking at all enemies. So if we give them a range of 5 to 10 that they like to fight in, we'll find that they tend to back away now. Yep, so it's got strong kite goal there. Had an even stronger punch goal. Oh, because I'd cranked that up to full. Yep, there it was. It did the kite maneuver and walked backwards. So that's good for making sort of, you know, artillery ranged characters who you want to back off. You can put that min distance and max distance there. We also have the pause between actions. We'll do this to the... I'll take that droid punch and set its priority back to normal. Default priority 1. And we'll go to the droid healer. And if you find the characters moving too fast all the time and doing too many actions, you can give them a pause between actions of, say, 4 seconds. And that means they'll use their powers less frequently. So if we look at the healer's countdown, every time they do something, it's going, that countdown's going to start up at 4 seconds plus, and then count down. Okay, one last thing to draw your attention to. With this droid healer, they're shielding up their allies before they're even aware of us, which is kind of annoying. It means if we sneak into a room, everyone's already shielded. What we can do about that is we can take this droid shield power and say the caster has to be in combat. Tactical in combat means they have to be alert in the alert pose where they do the idle boxing animation rather than just standing still. And now they're not going to start shielding anyone until they become aware of us, until we aggro them. So you can see, yeah, we're watching them from afar. They're no longer shielding everyone until... Haha, it's me, Rainbow Guy. And now that robot's first priority is to shield its 2 allies. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thanks to that pause we put in there. And that sort of gives us a window to get in there before everyone's force fielded up. Okay, one last thing to demo in here is the throw priority. I'll just move these 3 robots over here for this. Yep, take them over here. And with that healing robot, I'm going to make it super strong now. So we'll go to character, give it a strength of 40, and we will give it, in its brain, a throw priority of 1. So it likes to pick things up and throw them. Now, no matter how high a character's strength is, they're not going to pick up and throw objects by default. So, yep, you can see that's happened now. The healing robot decided to pick up a rock and throw it at me before shielding its allies. So it's going to have a little pause, and I think it was thinking of picking up one of these canisters. Yep, there we go. Oh, and... okay, I'm going to have to get it to stop throwing canisters at its allies, I think. Yep. But yeah, you can set up that throw priority to make sure that character will consider picking up and throwing things, so it'll get an extra goal in there. So yeah, that's the basic of AI. Give characters powers, they'll work out how to use them, whether they're ally powers, enemy powers, or self-buffs. If you don't like what a character's doing, you can put extra conditions on either themselves or the target, so they only do that, use that power under those conditions. You can change the priorities, and you can also set them up with a kiting goal and a throwing objects goal just by tweaking the AI brain settings.